Peace. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Appreciate it on a Wednesday.
Class session number 2.
Peace. What's up, everybody? You wanna mute that, please? Thank you.
There we go.
Yes. For the people who were here last week, we had a specific Zoom link that we were giving out, but we wanted everybody to just have access to it. If you have in the private Facebook group as well, you have access to this as well. But we just wanted to just put it directly up on YouTube. We closed out the chat link for now because we just kind of want to get everything that we have to get out tonight.
Yes. The broader the audience, because this information I feel is very important for the day and time that we live in.
Yeah.
Because more and more families and more people in general are gonna be forced to remix what's important, how to reinvent themselves. So this is all gonna be about the process of reinventing self, taking on new skill sets, so that when, the future, because the future's here,
yes,
that you can take full advantage of.
So for people who were not with us last week on Wednesday, we're gonna go through some, a quick rehash of what we said last week, and then we're just gonna get into the new information, steps 6 through 10, because we're going through the 25-point checklist of how to start a small business. So we did steps 1 through 5 last week. So this week we're gonna go into steps 6 through 10, and then each week on Wednesdays we're gonna keep doing this the series at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, and we're just gonna keep going down the line. And then once we get through the checklist, we'll go into other aspects of building an online business, or small business rather. All right, so again, welcome to the Build Your Business Free Training. This is session 2, okay? So like I said, this will be a free weekly training series. We're gonna go through the 25-point checklist. Then we're gonna go into the 12 principles of building the family business, if you're into building the family business. This is just small business in general. And then we're gonna go into the 4 course quadrants that we offer as well. More in depth into those.
Yes.
So, as we said before, our overall goal is to help beginners start and new businesses grow. All right, everybody is into, getting you to 7 figures and things like that, and a lot of people just don't know where to start, and that's where we come in, because we had the same questions, we had the same pain points as well, and this is our 7th year in business, so we've ran through a lot of the same pitfalls, a lot of the same roadblocks as well. So we are now here just kind of giving what we know and what we've learned out to you guys.
I like that term, pain points.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of pain.
Yeah, man.
A lot of mistakes that we made.
We could have avoided.
Yeah. So we want to help you avoid those mistakes.
Right. So in this series as well, this is to help you potentially get started in 30 days. Right? We didn't promise you 6 figures. We didn't promise you the world. We're promising you that with this information, you can get started and you can potentially grow your business. And that's what the whole point of this series is about. Now, quick house rules. Again, for the people who weren't here with this last class, this is not an Urban X podcast, and no spam and things like that. With the comment section is shut off on YouTube with the live chat section. So just come ready to learn and work.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna go through, our story again. We've been in business for 5 years as Urban X, Momi Media, but we've been in business way longer than that, doing other things. Your first book that came out 15 years ago. That came out a long time ago.
Absolutely, that became the foundation for all the business that we were doing now, because I had a vision and dream. And you were 11 and your brother was 18 at the time. But a vision and dream that we would come into this moment. See, a lot of times you got to plant that seed and have a dream, and it becomes fruition or comes to fruition at a later point. And here we are now with a legitimate business, trademarks, copyrights, the whole 9 yards of things we're going to teach you that enable us to be respected as doing legitimate business.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go through some social proof for the people who might not know, right? We've been doing this, right? So over 380,000 downloads on our audio podcast, 10 million views on YouTube, 55,000 subscribers. We have a 6-figure merch business. We print our own shirts and we package them out and we send them out ourselves. 6-figure membership business. We have 3 self-published books. 2 your end. I got one. Shouts out to me.
Yep.
We also on our podcast, on our weekly podcast, we do 2 shows a week, and we promote other small businesses, people who advertise with us, and we make it a concerted effort to make sure that they're small businesses,
yes,
not really big ones, because we can advertise really big ones. Many of them have reached out to us.
Right.
They tried to, because our price is so low when it comes to advertising, that they've tried to buy up 6 months to a year.
Give me the whole year.
And one whop, you know what I mean? But we make it an effort to promote these small businesses because a lot of people just need to be in front of some eyes,
right,
some ears, to just get their story
and
out
to get real legitimate feedback.
Yes.
Not just from your friends. That's good feedback in the beginning, but you need real people to, and the social proof of that is how many people are purchasing, how many people are inquiring. This is why it's important to have a website and all of these things that we're going to speak about, so you can begin to track the analytical data that says, man, I did an ad on Urban X, and before Urban X, it was here, but based on that advertisement, it's here, so we know advertising works or didn't work, and what do you have to do to remix that, revise that, put some fresh eyes on it, to make sure that cake is baked. And
what's cool is the 25 checkpoint list that we have, I'll make it available on the website. You can just download, but it's free. That came from helping other businesses when they wanted to advertise with us.
Right.
Because we have our own checks that we go through with these businesses. If they don't have a website, we can't work with you. You know what I mean? If you don't have a social media presence, like we try to make sure everything is up to code, on your end before we put you out to the public, because you're going to be the one answering those questions. You're going to be the one taking those customers in. So we don't want to put our name on something that's shaky, and we don't want you to put a shaky business out there. We could easily just take anybody's, money to advertise, but we don't want to do that. And this list that we have comes from our years in business, comes from helping other businesses as well. So we're going to go through steps 6 through 10. So, which is create a website, e-commerce site, create a social media presence, start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, and get an SMS text account. Now, that last one is new. If you're watching us right now, if you got the text alert just now, we sent out a text to people to get them to watch this live and things like that, and you'll understand why that is important.
Yes, very good.
So let's talk about creating a website / landing page, right? So your website is a great place to further build a relationship with your audience. The theme tonight is really going to be about building a relationship with your audience.
Right.
We talked about identifying who your audience was. We talked about identifying your niche and telling your story, but now you have to further build that relationship with the people who are potentially going to do business with you, right? And your website is a central hub. You need to have a website or landing page somewhere people can go to get more information about you, because rarely is somebody just going to meet you up on Instagram, DM you, and then do business that way. People like to have a website where they could just,
And they like to have an accredited website.
That too.
That looks legit. That says when I spend my money with you, I can see the PayPal logo, I can see the MasterCard logos,
Stripe, or
Stripe, whatever it is, that says I'm comfortable spending my money with you, and it is your storefront. So the one thing social media has allowed is the small guy to look as big as you want, based on how well your site is organized and how much traffic you send to it. You really don't know how big certain people are, because their site speaks to certain things. So that is important, like you said, not just for commerce, for information, for data collection, for emails, as we'll talk about. So that email I mean, that website is the foundation
Very important.
of all you're going to do. If you don't have a website and a legitimate looking website, right colors, right fonts, we'll get into, we get into all that in the actual course.
Yeah, we have courses like that go into, your website specifically. We have a book course, we have a podcast course, YouTube. Like we have courses that go into websites specifically a little more in depth because depending on what you do or depending on what you're selling, a website can work different ways. But generally, right, it is important to have a website. Now, you might be thinking like, I don't know how to create a website, right? I don't know how to code. I don't know what I'm doing. But there are now a lot of sites. There's Squarespace, there's Wix, there's Kajabi. There's a lot of different websites builders that are drag and drop. I'm not the most techie person in the world, but every website every Urban X website that we've had, I've created.
Yes.
And that's just for me, just kind of learning, kind of playing around with things, and it's drag and drop. So you kind of have an idea how you want your website to look. You have some quality pictures, and I say quality pictures because a lot of websites have pixelated things, and it just looks a mess, or it doesn't look the same on the phone. Right. It looks all over the place on the phone and things like that. And that can hurt your website because we talked about this on the last session, that there's really like 3 seconds you have.
That's it. You got about 3 or 4 seconds.
For people to come on your site to kind of just, all right, feel comfortable. If it looks all over the place, and if they feel like you sell a product or service and they feel like they're not going to get it because your website looks janky, that is a testament to you.
No, it is a testament to you. And then you will have people who just fool. Let's say you're selling something, because I've had people, I sell my book on my site, but Amazon sells my book, and at first they wouldn't purchase from my site, just out of being more comfortable knowing Amazon has been here as long as it's been. They would rather go to Amazon.
Right.
But now I do just as much business, or we do, from my site, because my site has been there so long, and they know, okay, I can trust doing business. So those are some of the ups and downs you're going to deal with when people are spending money on your site.
We talked about in here. We talked about purchasing your domain. Now, your domain is important because if it is way too complicated to type in, how many people are going to type it in? How many people are going to go to it? Right? Our first idea for Urban X was going to be urbanexperience.com, and now you might be thinking, oh, that's easy, but think about the letters that can get messed up when you type in experience in. You know
and the way we spell experience.
And not even, and that was going to be something, we were even thinking about just spelling experience with the X. That would throw way too many people off. We would probably lose a lot of business. A lot of people won't be able to go to our site because they just don't know what they're looking for.
So if your website says Fly Nubian Artist from the West Coast.com, I'm not going to type all, I'm not.
Right.
So you might want to just acronym that, flyfnnubian.com. You want to make it as short as possible and more attainable, and people won't have time. They don't mind going to type that. But if it's flynubian from the West Coast.com / it's really a lot. Yeah. So think about your customer. This is critical. Do not look at it from a perspective of you. That's a dope name. I'm going to use it. Think about the people and how slow a lot of the buying public is, right? You don't have a lot of time. You want to make this quick.
Yes.
Right? So, and a lot of times you'll find this. Your domain name, because we couldn't get urbanx.com.
Yes.
Somebody else had it.
Right.
They're trying to sell it to me for $80,000. I don't have $80,000. So what we did, we went with shopurbanx.com because that's what you're doing there anyway. So find creative ways. If you go to look for your domain name and somebody already has it, find a smooth hack where it's still, okay, it's shopurbanx.com, so you still know it's business coming to us. Those are some of the things that we've learned along the way.
Yeah, definitely. And make sure your website is easy to navigate. If you have an About Me page, if you have a shop page, like make sure everything is clearly identified so you can get the stuff. Make sure it's not, I don't have to go into this, to go into this, to go into that. Make sure everything is where it needs to be. Because websites, they need to, you want your website to be pretty. You want your website to talk, to tell your story, but your website only really has one function, and that is to collect information, to collect people's emails. Super important. People spend tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on businesses' email lists because that information is so vital. You can sell directly to a customer. Now, social media is amazing, but social media, you're casting a wide net, right? Somebody might buy, somebody might not. But if somebody gives you their email address, somebody opts into giving you their email address, that means they're interested in some aspect of what you're doing.
Right. That means you've captured their interest to the point where they want to investigate further,
right? And the way to do that is to collect emails, is to deliver some type of value.
Yes.
Right, you have to have a value add because people are on a lot of different email lists, Best Buy, Macy's, whatever. They're on enough email lists as it is. They don't need to add one more. So if you can add some type of value for free, right? For free, that's the word. Think about what kind of business you're in. Think about what kind of information you can give out. It could either be a discount if you're selling the physical price. If you're selling something that a lot of people want to know more information about, give away, a free ebook that has information that you could just clearly give out. They have more information. And in the ebook, you can have links directed back to your website. That's another conversation for another, session. But these are different ways you can collect email addresses, build your email list, build your customer base, because those are people who are what are considered warm leads.
Yes, that's a warm lead. We'll speak about hot leads, warm leads, and cold leads. Also pixels.
Yes.
That's an advance.
Yes.
I'm just keep in mind when I say pixel, in the long run, what I'm saying is you want to put a tracker on everyone who comes to your site. But we'll talk about that in some of the advanced classes. That means wherever they go, you go.
Yeah.
And you begin to collect data. So you know how you go to a website, and then when you leave that website looking for them socks, all these other ads for socks begin to pop out. It's because they had a tracker on you.
Yeah.
And you have the ability, so you think only the big companies can do that. No, you can do it too. You have the ability to put a tracker on somebody and go, oh, I see you do like this or you do like that, and now the game begins. So that's how important or why a website is important.
Okay. So social media, right? So that's we just went into real broadly and generally into why you need a website or a landing page. Oh, real quick, I'm going to go back real quick. A landing page is simply a place, just one page. Everything you do or say could be on that page. It doesn't have a lot of different tabs and different things to go into. Right. Everything could be on that one spot. So landing pages are very effective as well.
Yes.
Because, especially if you only have one thing, you want to give the information here, right?
If you're an artist, you want to show your show dates or whatever, you just need a landing page.
Landing page. That is very effective too. So you don't need a lot of different pages, a lot of different confusing pages and things like that. Landing page could work just as fine. So just wanted to put that out there. Now, social media, right? Social media is very, very important, and like me, I'm an old soul. I'm young, but I'm an old soul, and it took me a while to kind of just accept how important social media was because you're trying to keep up with it and trying to always post. But there are ways that if you're an introverted like me, you can kind of get around those. We'll get to that, but you must reach new potential customers, right? If nobody knows you around, then you have no business.
Yeah, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, did it make a sound?
Did it make a sound?
So I don't care how dope your album is or how powerful your book is or how amazing your clothing line is, if nobody knows, is it really amazing? Right. So you do have to enter into this realm of social media.
Yes, so you have to make sure when you're on social media, you have to make sure you create engaging content that speaks directly to your specific customer. Not everyone. Again, we spoke about this last week. You have a specific demographic, you have a specific audience base that you're speaking to when you're on social media. So make sure you speak to those people. Now, if you are a say you have a barbecue sauce, right? You've given that example before. You have a barbecue sauce that you are promoting. This is your secret recipe. This is your thing. Now, your audience are people who like barbecue, people who eat, people who cook out and things like that. Now, to somebody like me who I don't really, care about barbecue, sauce like that and things, I do, but let's just, for an example, somebody who's not really thinking about that, then your content is not going to speak to me, and that's okay. I'm not your audience. You know what I'm saying? He might love that. He might go out grilling with his family every weekend, and he might be into, I want to try that. So that is what you have to think about. Your audience is not everybody. Your content is not for everybody. Now, be sure to match all of your handles. Now, for example, you can follow us at UrbanX_NYC on Twitter and Instagram. Very easy to find us. You could just type in the same thing. You can find us that way. And that goes into our website. Our website is urbanx.nyc. So it's around the same thing where people are not looking at you like, okay, wait, it's urbanx.com, it's urbanx NY here, or urbanx nation here. People cannot find you. If people cannot find you, then that's the same thing of people not being able to hear about you.
Right. So your best goal is to, especially when you're starting early. So when you're starting early and you're doing your research and these names are available, get them.
Just get them. Yeah.
Don't worry about what you're going to put in there and the content yet. Secure the website, secure the social media handles, and if they're all the same, you batting 1,000. That means, like you said, over any social media, timeline, wherever they go, there you are. And now you've just shrunken the ability to find you, and the ability to find you quick at the snap of a button or the type of a finger makes the world of a difference.
Okay, and word of advice is, I would say that you learn about each social media platform, right? There's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok is a big one now, LinkedIn. There's a lot of them, Snapchat. So you want to learn about each of them. And when we talked about doing market research in the last episode, we talked about, this is important where it comes in here as well. You want to do some research to how people in your field are using it, because sometimes Twitter might not be the fit. If you have a barbecue sauce, Twitter might not be the platform that you choose to dedicate your time to propping out social media content, because it might just not make sense.
Right.
Okay, Twitter is not really for visuals. Instagram is for visuals. TikTok is for visuals. TikTok, you can make a quick minute video showing how you make your sauce, how you put it on chicken, how it makes it look. Right. Instagram, the same thing. Facebook as well. But, Twitter is just, 250 characters. People just tweet, right?
Right.
Or LinkedIn might not be. LinkedIn is usually B2B, business to business stuff.
They're changing now. Because
they are.
I think they're trying to become more of a social media platform. But we always know LinkedIn as a business, but you are now a business.
Right.
As you're setting up.
So you might be able to connect with restaurants on
Absolutely.
LinkedIn with, that can hold, or restaurants or, stores that can hold your barbecue sauce or something like that.
Correct.
But you have to use them. You have to use these platforms differently. So just kind of pay attention to how, you can use these platforms, how other people in your field are using these platforms. So I wanted to real quick stay on social media and talk about your strategy, right? So I have 3 examples here, 3 authors. I'm an author too. That's my page. So how they make their content. They have specific content. One guy, Graham Cochran, he has video content. Then he'll put a quote post, right? They have video content, quote posts, stuff like that. Mark Manson, he's an author. He just has straight posts. He has a concept. He has 4 things he can say about this concept, and he just has swipe to read the rest of his concept and how you engage. This is early. This is when I was promoting my book, Urban Excellence, right? And I had a quote from the book. I had a video from the person who did that quote. And then I had something else like a book recommendation or something like that. So make sure you have a social media strategy that works for you and what you're doing, right? So me, again, a book. A lot of people don't want to read books and things like that. The average person, there's a specific audience for authors, and So I had to figure out a clever way to market it in a unique way. So again, like I said, people are visual, and I had a lot of interviews that went with the actual book. So I said, okay, it would be cool to show the interview,
yes,
right? And you can also, I'll get to that. It would be quick to show the interview, and it'll be cool to show a great quote from it. And because I was working with other people, it gave them the opportunity to share it to their followers as well. So you have to think about multiple ways, little clever ways that could just work for you specifically.
And these are called buckets.
Yes.
That's the term we like to use, and you try to create 3 or 4 buckets that are always consistent with, because it's 3 slots on Instagram in particular. So let's even say you had 3 different buckets. Every day I'm gonna post a quote, and then I'm gonna post a picture, and then I'm gonna post something I'm selling. So each one, if you use it consistently, your website or your Instagram looks uniform, and when people go to it, they automatically know
what they're doing,
and what you're about. This is not, if this is your business place, this is not a place for your personal stuff. You showing your grandkids, y'all out having a good time. That's a separate Instagram page. You can have as many as you want. This one is specific. Like if you go to Black Dot, if you go to my page, that's personal. So you'll see a bunch of crazy quotes. You see my grandkids might be up there, this and that. My grandson, not kids. But you know what I mean? But on my Urban X channels, where we stay uniformed as possible so that there's no confusion of what it is that we're trying to do. Also a hack, and this is where you got to get into the trenches. We'll get into this in the more advanced classes or the services we offer, putting up 5 posts a day.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go too deep into that because like I said, that'll be for more when you're really ready to make that leap, but showing you how to defeat the algorithms, because it's you against the algorithms, a bunch of other things.
Yeah, and because I hope you didn't scare anybody away like that, right?
That's why I had to pull back a little bit.
Because one of the things that you can do is you can repurpose your content. You can have one big piece of pillar content, meaning if you do a YouTube channel, you do a podcast, you can repurpose. You can take a minute from this podcast here. You can take a quote from this part, and then one piece of content, like one, let's say 1/2 hour to hour podcast episode, can turn to at least 10 different pieces of content if you know how to repurpose it correctly. So he said something about 5 pieces of content a day. It sounds crazy, but if you have a system, if you just kind of know what your buckets are, who you are talking to, then it's a way easier way to kind of divvy those posts out.
Absolutely.
So I want to go into tools, right? So you see this post right here that I created. I actually created this on Canva, right? Canva is an amazing tool. Canva is free, or there is a paid option. I highly recommend the paid option.
Yes, you get more
you get to do a lot of stuff. So I did this on Canva for free. The picture, my book, everything. I just kind of put that together, all right? So there's also Photoshop, Adobe Pro, all great for creating social media content. There's also Placeit.net, which helps you create mock-ups.
Yeah, and what's a mock-up? So if you selling a t-shirt and you just got a blank t-shirt and you sit that on your website, that resonates a certain way, but when you put it on Placeit, you can actually put it on models.
Yeah, you can put it on
children,
a person,
adults, and it makes you look more professional, and people can actually see themselves wearing the shirt. So Placeit is a great hack for you to make your product look amazing. It can put it on cups, you can put it on books, you can put it on laptop covers, so many different things. So Placeit is also amazing.
And another tool, great tool that I recommend to a lot of people when they ask me, Later.com. Now, Later.com is a scheduling app for social media. Now, if you are following us on social media, you saw we went on a tear.
Yes.
For the month of April. We posted 4 to 5 posts a day, and that's because we batch recorded a lot of content, right? So that's a strategy you can use as well. If you're working, if you have a busy schedule, record a lot of content at once, post them and schedule them, and then a lot of the work is done for you. So we batched a lot of pieces of content, like 150 pieces of content between me and you, and then we scheduled it on later.com to the point where once it was up, we didn't have to think about it. On Reels, they don't really work with Reels, so we had to do that manually. But the other posts, that was
and that
automatic.
saves you so much time when you can schedule it 30 days in advance. You can lay it out so you know that it's happening, because your life gets busy and you want to focus your attention on other things. You don't want to be engrossed in putting up posts and you're not making your product better or doing the other things. So we found ourselves really busy doing things that someone else could do, and later became that option for us. And we highly recommend Canva, Placeit, and later.com in particular. These are going to be your best friends. There are others, but these will be your best friends to help your job become easier.
Yes, and if you take our book course, our self-publishing book course, I go way into how I created this. I show you step by step how I created the post, how I scheduled it, and things like that. Placeit.net. I show you why, if you're an author, these three, or if you have a podcast, if you have a product, how you can just use them creatively to kind of sell your product.
Yes.
So, step 8, start a podcast. Now, starting a podcast before, like let's say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was an option, right? Now I feel if you have a product to sell, a service that you're selling, that's no longer an option anymore. You kind of have to be able to tell your story and to reach your audience, right?
Yeah.
And what is a podcast? Podcast is an audio online broadcast that could be entertaining, informative, or could be both, right? Our podcast, Urbanized Podcast, we pride ourselves on being both entertaining and informative. But if you have a specific field that you're in, if you are a wedding planner, if you are a real estate agent, you can use podcasts and leverage your information in a different way to where it speaks directly to the people you're trying to sell to.
And let me say this, you don't have to be a professional speaker to start a podcast. If you are passionate about something and you can speak to that passion, and it don't have to be long, it has to be consistent, right? So if you're speaking for 20 minutes a week on it, just try your best to be consistent with that time. You don't need a lot of equipment to start. Again, we have a beautiful course on that that takes you from beginners all the way to advanced. You have to use your voice. $1.4 billion in revenue was generated on podcasts. Just last year. And so they're projecting even more this year in terms of ad revenue, commercials, so much that goes into it. And you need a voice because you need to speak directly to these people. And you don't have, and if you, like you said, if you feel shy about being on camera, this is your voice. Some people have an amazing voice, and when you see them, you're almost disappointed. That voice was beautiful, or so forth. So just work on it. It's not going to be perfect when you first start. So stop looking at the end result. Don't put the cart in front of the horse. Build it, and they will come. Build it, build it, build it. And for instance, like we said, if barbecue, you say, well, I can't talk about barbecue sauce every week. Yes, you can.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Because you're talking about a cookout, you're talking about traveling, you're talking about the different ingredients. There are conventions in which you can go to. You can interview other people about their barbecue sauce. Right. So do not get linear and think you're just talking about selling your barbecue sauce. You're selling the experience that goes with the barbecue sauce. And then when it comes to advertisement, of course you want to get with, who's the charcoal people? The people who sell charcoal.
Right. Yeah.
You want to get with the people who sell grills. Right. You want to get with Father's Day apparel. So that's how you begin to segue out. And that's what our podcast goes into, how to make those connections to move it just from something static, like your barbecue sauce, to everything related to barbecue sauce.
Podcasting is a business within itself, right? Like like we just spoke about it. If you have a product that you want to, you know, continue to market with your podcast, podcasting is a business within itself. And, you know, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we have a course that goes into all that and how you can use it as a business or how you can use it to leverage your business. So also real quick, podcasts also do not have to be long. Right, you said that before, but a lot of people, when they think of podcasts, they think of like really long form. We do an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Joe Rogan is famous for his 3-hour-long podcast. If you have a specific area, it could be a 20-minute podcast. I know somebody who has millions of followers. They do 10-minute podcasts. They do just quick rants. They're on the treadmill. They just want to get something off their chest. They record something, and then that goes up. Literally, that's their episode.
Yeah.
Right? So these are some ways that you can monetize your podcast as well, right? You can get ads from local or big name brands, as you just spoke about. If you are barbecue sauce, like you can work with somebody who has a restaurant in your neighborhood. You can, you know, do ad space with that, or big name brands like grill brands and things like that. You can sell your own products and services. Obviously, you can use your podcast platform to sell what you do. Affiliate sales. Now, this is it's not a sneaky one, but it's a really good one that a lot of people use. A lot of people don't really tell you about. Now, if you are, let's say you're a personal trainer, right? Let's say you're a personal trainer, or you're big into health and you do a podcast and you interview somebody who has a yoga course, right? Online yoga course. You can work out a deal to where you get a special link, and every time somebody from your audience buys one of their courses,
using that link,
using that specific link, you get 30%, 40%, 50%.
No, that is a great way, and I know some podcasters who really leverage that. And if you got a course and people use their link as they should, they get a percentage. So the affiliate program is critical.
Yeah, and then, you know, another strategy you can use, you can make sure the episode is evergreen, meaning it can be found at any time. You're talking about a broad topic within this niche, right? So somebody just has questions on lower back flexibility. That's something people are always going to have questions about, right?
Absolutely.
So if somebody types in, you know, your show, or, you know, just happens to come across it, then they're going to be able to, oh snap, they have a course on this as well, and then you're going to just always be able to make money off that monthly.
And it never gets old. It's not like talking about Donald Trump. We don't consider that evergreen. That's in the moment.
It's in the moment.
Evergreen are things that whenever you click on them, love, relationship, health, weight loss, the subject never changes. It could be 5 years old and people can still find it, and that information becomes useful. So it's important, you know, sometimes, see, our show is not an evergreen show.
It's not.
Our podcast is the latest things that happen. We know that going in. But these courses will be evergreen because we will update them from time to time. But the information, so now we're giving you an example of what's evergreen. You can come to this a year from now and it'll still be valuable. But us talking about, let's say, Kevin Samuels on our actual show, that information is old. So know the difference between evergreen, you know, for those who are interested, and the difference between, you know, current events and things of that nature.
And you can also monetize through memberships. Now, these are for people who have a dedicated audience.
Yes.
Starting out, I wouldn't recommend you try to have a membership like a Patreon channel, Kajabi membership, and things like that, because it's hard to get people to buy into what you're doing.
Yes.
Especially on Instagram. Like, if you have a social media presence and things like, it's hard to get people to buy in. And that comes from, again, building those relationships. That is the theme for tonight, is being able to build those relationships with your audience and your members. We have another full course on memberships as well, and we give you the techniques, the step-by-steps of how we did it. We created a 6-figure membership ourselves, right? And we even give you, within that course, we even give you 30 days free with the platform that we use to host our membership, and I teach you how to use it as well. So definitely look into it. Next, step 9, start a YouTube channel. Now, YouTube is the second largest search engine next to Google. We talk about customers finding you. This is one of the best ways that you can use organically to get organic traffic to your product, to your service, to your website, anything that you are offering, right?
Yes.
He spoke, my pop spoke about having a pixel to where people find. That's paid. That's for paid ads.
That's for paid ads.
That can get expensive, right? YouTube, you can have free organic traffic that come to you depending on your title, depending on how you use it, depending on your topic. Free people that'll come to you every day, however much you post. Mm-hmm. And you can funnel them to your website. You can leverage your audience and make sure that they get to your website to get your service or your product. And people love visuals.
Oh, our people love visuals. They do something different and stimulate in a different way. And so the visuals are important at some point. Mm-hmm. You know, as you begin to build your podcast audience and get strong with speaking, now we want to see that product. We want to see that barbecue sauce. We want to see you. We want to look into your face, into your spirit, and know, are you somebody that we can trust? Are you consistent? You know, and things of that nature.
Right. We spoke about this prior to. We've been interviewing a lot of small business owners. We've been interviewing the small business owners who advertise on our podcast. And what that's done is, like, a lot of people go, wow, I like this person so much. They're telling their story. You're seeing their face. You're like, wow, I like this person. I want to support. Wow, I didn't understand. I didn't get that at first, but now I get it.
Now I get it, yeah.
You have a better opportunity to connect with people face to face, because building those relationships is important. Business is about dealing with people.
Yes.
As much as we like to automate things, as much as we like to be hands off, like, I just want to be able to sit back and make money,
and collect that
and
money.
Passive. Yeah. Like, business is about relationships. You don't get to that point without building those relationships with your audience first. All right. YouTube is great for pillar content, like I spoke about before. If you have a 30-minute video or 30-minute video that you turn into a podcast and that you can take a quote from, or you can take a clip from here. We've had podcast episodes, like 1 hour and a half episode that we've turned into 20 different pieces of content.
Absolutely. Across
different social media platforms. And I go into that as well on the podcast course and on the YouTube post as well. And it's a very low cost to start, right? Everybody has one of these in their hand. You can start by recording on your phone. Actually, on the YouTube course, I show how, because there are different technologies to where you can have a mic that plugs straight into your phone. Mm-hmm. And I recorded one of the pieces from that piece of equipment to show how there's no drop off in audio quality. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or visual quality, because, you have an iPhone, there's no drop off. So there's really no excuse, right? You don't have to buy a 3-camera setup. You don't have to have a switcherboard starting out. You can literally start from your phone and then post content and just make sure you're consistent. And then again, I gave you another tool at the beginning, Canva. You can create your thumbnails for free.
Absolutely.
On Canva.
Yep.
Right. So there's a really low cost to start, but you must adapt the correct strategies, right? Going viral is not a strategy. That is not a strategy.
That is not.
Because one, you're gonna let's say you do go viral, you get a million views on this one video. Now you're always chasing that. And that is not good for marketing, because people are always gonna just try to expect that.
And then let's say 1 million people visit, but you had nothing to offer.
Right.
And so you just blew that opportunity.
Right.
So understanding going viral is not, unless you have a strategic plan in place that's gonna take full advantage when all of them people come busting through the door. If not, it's a waste of time. It's a fleeting moment.
Right. And it's just you're always at the mercy of algorithms
and numbers. Yeah,
you're always at the mercy, because now this week YouTube pushes this type of content, now they don't. Or you said something, now they take away monetization on your videos. You don't want to play that game.
Right. We've been there. Trust me.
You don't want to play that game, right? And you probably see a lot of people who do play that game, but they're always chasing that, and a lot of your audience can see through it as well.
That's right.
They see like, oh, okay, you're only doing this because that worked well in your last video. Or
yes.
they can see through that, and then you lose trust with the audience. That's not what you want.
And the same methods to monetize on your podcast are pretty much the same on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, there are a lot of different platforms you can use to kind of like shop yourself.
Yes.
Right? A lot of different to shop, like, you know, your audience. Like, I have, you know, 1,000 subscribers, and there are people who work with micro influencers. Like,
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I can still sell my product because 1,000 people is 1,000 people is 1,000 people.
Yeah, so now all the major companies, what you're going to find, and again, we're going to teach an advanced course on this later on, is these product placement sponsorship programs where all the major corporations have a division now that deal with influencers, micro influencers, mid-level influencers, and high-level influencers. And as a result, they want to max their brand because they see you getting 55,000 people per week on your show, and they would like to put their product in front of them. The goal is for you to find the right product that matches what it is, that you teach or that you stand for. So if you are a health guru, you would not allow Pepsi to sponsor on your page. That would make you look crazy. So knowing and understanding, and we're gonna go through a step-by-step later on in this course and show you how to position yourself to meet the requirements needed for these companies to see just how valuable you are to them.
Yes. And 10, get an SMS text account. Now, if you are, part of, the Urban X Nation, you probably got a text just now or prior to the show starting that, we were going live. And before we go live every podcast, we have a specific number people could text in, and then we send them links to sales that we're having. We send them for giveaways, a text book to this number that we have. And then that is even more of a direct way to get in contact with customers. So we talked about social media, which is a wide net, cold leads, right? Email, warm leads.
Yes.
Right? Text, that's even warmer.
They're saying that the text message has a 95% chance of you opening the text message even more than email. So that's why text messaging is so important, because everyone has this in their hand at all given times. And like Malcolm said, you can run specific sales for people just who give you their text. Now, the text message doesn't take your personal information. A lot of people are confused about that. It's a algorithmic code given to you specifically for us to let you know we're doing something, so we can plug you into a number of things. Type 10% here, do this, do that. So never underestimate, and the cost is very reasonable.
Yeah, start out with the lowest.
Start out with the lowest plan.
Start out with the lowest plan, because as you'll see in your business, like in your journey, it is difficult to get people to opt in, even for free stuff. Even for free stuff. Like, you would be surprised of how much we've kind of like had to
it's free.
It's free. I thought this was good, and then people still have to be reminded to be able to text in and things like that. Real quick reminder: if you want text notifications from us, text 917-810-3077. Text Urban X. So that's that. So definitely look into. There's a couple of different companies. There's Community.com.
That's the one we use. Community.com.
There's a few other ones,
but there's many of them out there, and they offer various packages. But they're all pretty much the same.
Right.
And there's even some beautiful features in there, like where it notifies you when somebody's birthday's coming.
Right, yeah.
Doesn't tell you who the person is. But imagine you getting a text message, some of you may have, happy birthday from the Urban X Nation. You're like, wow, how did they know?
Right.
Or, we was able to send out beautiful Mother's Day messages.
Broad text,
and it went specifically to mothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So very, very personal way to stay in touch with your audience, because you're establishing a relationship, and it ain't just buy and you the seller, I'm the buyer, or vice versa. This is a relationship build, and that's why the SMS is something you want to look into as a valuable tool.
Yeah, a lot of like really big companies have started to use it, but like mid like you can really get in on you can really get a good lane for yourself if you are able to get a lot of people to opt into that, because again, that is direct. You're not relying on algorithms,
right?
Social media algorithms that change up all the time. You're not relying on email that can spam your email sometimes, depending on what you put in the title. Like if you put free in the subject line, sometimes it'll trigger spam. You gotta send your email to spam, and some people don't check their email. So text message, everybody has this in their hand.
And the beautiful thing about the text message, you opt into it. So if you're getting a text from me, you wanted the text. It's not a unsolicited text.
I'm not spamming you. Yeah.
I'm not spamming you. You opted in, and now I'm just letting you know we're running a sale tomorrow, and you can take advantage.
Right. So those are the 5. Those are the 5 that we will cover tonight. Right now, we're going to go into another aspect of the DISC assessment that we spoke about last week. Now, the DISC assessment, it is a behavioral assessment that can help you gauge behavioral patterns, right? The DISC, it stands for, it's DISC, right? So what's the D? The D is demonstrative, I is interactive,
right?
S is stable, C is cautious, right? So there's 4 different types of people in the world. You fall into one of these 4 categories. Some higher, some lower than others, right? And
that D always gets me. That's not what D is. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, but that's a word that's used for it, right?
Right.
So why is this important? Why is this important? Because running a business, it'll tell you how you are with your work, how you are if you're a procrastinator, how you are dealing with other people, how you are dealing under pressure.
Yes, pressure.
Right?
Yes.
And that's dope it's dope to understand, to know, like, if you're dealing with a team, like we have a family business here, and to know, okay, you're high D. This is like we used a plane analogy, right? You're the pilot. You just want to get to where you need to go. You don't care who's in the way. You just want to get to where you can go, right? I Interactive, that is the flight attendant. Mama Dot is the flight attendant. She deals with customer service. She deals with people. She likes to deal with people. I am a flight controller, air traffic controller.
Yes.
I just want to do the work.
That's it.
I just want to do the work. I just want to make sure it's done right. I just want to make sure it's done efficiently. And that's it. I don't want to deal with people. And at first, when we first started our business, they had me doing a customer service. They had me answering emails to people. And I'm just like, yo, dog,
that's the last thing that you need to be doing.
Yeah, come on. I don't want to do this.
Yep.
Right? So we showed, I'm actually skip real quick. This was my dad's DISC assessment summary, right? A D stands for decisive. Decisive. So this was my dad's DISC assessment profile. It's a 22-page report that we can provide for you if you want to take this DISC assessment to know where you're at. But the first bar you see is a red bar, then you see a gray bar next to it, or a yellow bar, then a gray bar next to it. The red is the natural style. That's how you act where you're not thinking about it. That is the most comfortable to you. You're not thinking about how you're doing it. That's just who you are naturally. Now, if you see here, my pops is a 99D, right? So when it comes to problem solving, he is.
Say pause.
Yeah, my bad. Pause. He's a 99D, so that means very demanding. He'd be very demanding when he wants to get something done. He problem solves very quickly. He makes a decision very quickly as well. Very decisive. Now, when he is being observed, now as you can see, his adaptive is 63D.
Right.
So 63, he can be a little determined. Like that's where people, if he's made aware of his behavior, if we tell him like, yo, Dad, you're wilding.
Yes.
Right? That's what he adapts to.
And when people are watching you.
Right.
Your adaptive is when people are watching. So when people are watching, it's like going to a job. And you might be so-and-so at home, but on the job, you pretty much in your adaptive.
Yes.
So my adaptive says and suggests, I'm a leader, but when more people are around watching, I may not want to intimidate them or scare them, so I may fall back. So, but you want your adaptive to be as close to who you are as possible. So when you see that big contrast, that suggests that that's something I have to work on. You know what I'm saying? So that it's not a great contrast in the adaptive style. But we all have a natural state, and then we got a state where we fronting. Let's just call it what it is. Natural, and we fronting.
Yeah.
Natural, and the only one that's the opposite is the S, because the S is
pace. It's about
pace.
speed.
So your S, they're very slow. These are your ground school people. They're very methodic, but when the lower their adaptive scores, they get fast
and careless.
And careless at the same time, because if you know somebody who they get their work done, but they just work slow, and you pressure them, they'll speed up, but the work will be careless. So you need to know who on your team is what letter. So we offer this DISC assessment.
Yeah, I actually want to show
and recommend it seriously.
I actually want to show mine real quick.
Oh, okay,
I
cool.
have mine pulled up. Let me see. So I have mine right here. It's on the screen. So if you see mine, my biggest jump. Can I make it bigger? Let me see. Yes. Right. So my biggest fall is in interactive. Right. I'm a very low I. Or I'm a low I. I'm 46, but interactive it goes down to 10. So that means when somebody makes me aware of I even kind of sink back into myself a little bit more.
Right. And it's blatantly obvious with Malcolm. He don't like people to begin with. I mean, no, he's very if he rock with you, he does, but he's not gonna be the social magnet of the party.
No.
But when people are watching, he'll fall back even more. That is a big contrast.
And I got to work on that.
And he has to work on that. Because when I bring him around people to introduce him to people, sometimes he's cold. But in this business we in, that's why this podcast has helped him be more personable. But he still has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't even realize it.
It's
There's just times he told me, he's like, yeah, that was rude. I'm just like, wait, for real? I just said what's up. He's like, nah, you came off super cold. I'm like, damn, I got to work on that. You know what I mean? So we definitely offer this 22-page breakdown. I'm showing you it's a lot of information about yourself. The best book you can read is about yourself.
That's the best book you can read. And the people that you're going to be working with. And it's not just for business, it's in your personal life too.
This could help you with your wife.
Like I said, you and your wife could be clashing because y'all both could be high eyes.
Yeah.
And y'all find yourself competing with each other. And another aspect about the high eye is they multitask and they don't get nothing done. Like they could over multitask. And that's my wife. She'll have 5 things. She'll be juggling 5 and think she got them all. And then at the end of the day, we go, well, what happened to that? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So they're about experience and people, right? Just to give you a quick breakdown, your pilot, that's who's flying your plane. They're the boss. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who are gonna take command of this and problem solving. So it's 4 P's. It's problems, people, pace, procedure. So I solve problems. My head is staring at the ceiling all the time, thinking about the next problem to solve. My wife is about people. If you call her, you might say, this lady was so nice. She spent 20 minutes with me and didn't have to because she's about people in that experience. Then there's the people who deal with pace. Right? They just they're very not big into the public. They want to get their job done. And then procedure. Malcolm, I find to be too cautious at times. Like, loosen up, son. Go for it. Step out those lines. But they deal with procedure. That's your air traffic controller. They're not going to tell you, just go around the other way.
Just land, man.
Just land, man. Wherever you see a free spot, just land the plane. They're not going to do that. So these assessments are the foundation, and we're certified coaches.
Yes, we are.
To give you these assessments, it takes 5 minutes. You answer about 15 questions in 5 minutes, and next thing you know, I can give you 22 pages and a 2-hour consultation breakdown, and you'll be like, wow.
Right.
Because knowledge, know thyself. You need to know where your strong points are. And it's not a right or wrong. It's just a test so you can know where you are.
Right. Like mine, I took this in 2020. I was a higher S.
Right.
Now I'm a higher C. If you saw my breakdown just now, so it changes from like 8 months to a year. Like you once you start to work on yourself, you start to be a little bit more aware of some of your tendencies and things like that. It does change. These are not fixed at all.
Absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, these we showed you some of the testimonials from people who have taken some of our courses. If you've taken the podcast course, the YouTube course, the T-shirt printing course, the book course, we have a lot of people who have taken them, and yeah, so that's about it. We're gonna start. I'm gonna open up the chat so we can start to take some questions. But if you are interested in any of our coaching services, of any of these courses, you can visit urbanx.nyc/academy. The link is in the description below. And for the people who are watching live right now, we're gonna give a 10% off discount.
That's dope.
Right, 10% off discount. The discount code is UrbanX10.
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 See, that would be something we would send to the text message.
But I just want for the people who are watching
right,
live
just for the
right
people
now.
who are watching now. But yes, UrbanX10, you're gonna get 10% off anything that you see in our shop, urbanx.nyc/academy. The link is in the description below. So we will open up our chat in case people have some legitimate questions about something we can help them with. If not, take notes. And we're gonna put last week's class up as well.
Yes, we will.
So you'll have the first 2 classes and look at it as an academy. We got a curriculum, and we're gonna keep moving this curriculum along, and hopefully after 30 days,
refresh your
6
page.
weeks,
Refresh your page if you're watching right now.
Refresh your page. Yeah.
So you can get to the chat. So we can take some questions, guys. Let me actually go do something. I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now for the people who are interested.
Yeah, you got to refresh your page.
Yeah, refresh your page. Peace, everybody.
Peace. Any questions that we can answer before we get out of here?
Before we get out of here, we're gonna be doing this. We'll be here next Wednesday as well.
Absolutely, same time,
same place. Right now, we are broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I go into how do you do that in the podcast course.
Yeah.
Somebody said, how would you go about making a website for life coaching? Oh,
well, life coaching is you're dealing with people's personal issues. So the website could be a landing page for what it is that you offer, testimony from other people who have worked with you, which is very important. That adds to your credibility. And then you have maybe a calendar that they can get on for a free consultation. 20-minute consultations about your services. You're credited, what makes you certified, because we are all life coaches. If I was an alcoholic my whole life and I'm no longer an alcoholic, I can teach you about the pitfalls of that. So don't get so caught into certifications. We just happen to be certified in this specific field, which gives us access to this DISC assessment. You have to be certified for that. But that's what I would do. Set the page up, landing page, clear, concise, a few testimonies.
Pain points that you touch on.
Pain points, a calendar where people can get because you need to know what it is that they're going through. So you offer something free, a 20-minute consultation for free, and then from there you set up what you have going. So that's pretty much easy. Is it worth it for small business to go the pay for clicks route?
So there's 2, right? There's Google, then there's Facebook. Google can get very expensive because it's very competitive, right? The way you pay for clicks is you have your ad and you're auctioning for other people who have their own ads in the same thing. So you're auctioning for extermination services that you have, or you're auctioning a restaurant, a local restaurant. And what happens on Google sometimes is these big companies will, because you're paying for a specific click. So if you have a budget of $100 and each click is $4, somebody will click all your ads.
Right, they have these bots.
They have bots that will click all your ads. So that I've had friends who run into that problem. Facebook is dope because you can target your audience a little better, right? Specific people who have liked, this other, competitors, post before, they'll target your ads there. Now the thing is, Facebook and Apple have been going through a silent war right now. So Apple makes it so Facebook can't track data. Now we talked about the pixel, the ones that follow you around. Now Apple, if you have an iPhone, it says ask them not to track my data.
Right.
And that messes up ads, or it makes it a little bit more difficult to get better targeted ads to people, more leads. So sometimes your ad might go to somebody who is not interested in your candle, or not interested in with your business. So I would recommend Facebook more than Google. That's my recommendation. But I will also say try to get more organic traffic first before you go to pay for click, right? Because it can get expensive.
And people say, how often do y'all recommend taking the assessment? Every 8 to 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So, just to know where you are, and just to know, and see, you also, you get those coaching services you can pay to continue to work with. Like if you wanted to work with Black Dot, right? I can give you the one-time assessment, and then you might say, yo, Dot, every once a month, I want to meet with you. We can set up a price plan for that. And then I can give you assignments, homework, and I can check up on you to see where you are, because we are all doing some kind of work, or should be doing some kind of work to better ourselves and our personal and business life. And then in 8 months, when you retake it, you go, wow, I see the improvement. Then let me work on something else, because it's really all about trying to better each other and better self in the beginning. What else? Each win. Where's the link for the disc test? We just put that in there. Good question.
Is word of mouth advertising still good, or have we shifted to mostly digital? I would say go for both. Word of mouth keeps customers,
but the word of mouth now is digital. Because most people are texting and tweeting. So that is the new form of word of mouth. Unlike if you have because even if you have a donut shop that's a brick and mortar, it used to be word of mouth. I could smell a donut, you'll go over there. Even they have websites, because you have to, the world is virtual now, so you just have to adjust and adapt. But as Malcolm said, any form of promotion or people speaking about your product, because once I hear about it, I want to go, the first thing I'm going to do is go, yo, what's his Instagram? You see how I'm saying? So yo, this, that, what's his Instagram? So they still interacted or interconnected at some point.
LaShawn, will I be able to watch this replay on your website? It'll be up on YouTube.
It'll be up on YouTube.
You can watch it.
Yeah, it'll always be here on YouTube. Just click into the Academy session, whatever session you missed. Or
LLC. So we're gonna be talking about LLC and stuff next week.
Yeah, next week we're gonna get in depth. That's 11 to 15. We'll get in depth to that. So make sure you tune in for that, because you're gonna learn a lot.
Yes. Any other questions before we get up out of here, guys? I hope you guys got a lot of information out of here. This was dope. I had a great time.
So did I. Had an amazing time.
I had a great time doing this. So don't forget, if you are interested in our courses and our coaching packages, urbanx.nyc/academy.
And you're getting that 10% extra.
10% extra, and that expires at 12 o'clock. Okay?
Yes.
You get 10% extra off, and that expires at 12 o'clock. The code, I'm going to put the code in the chat.
Yep.
Is UrbanX, all caps.
Yep, UrbanX 10.
10, yes.
Yep, UrbanX 10. Yep.
All right. So with that being said, guys, we appreciate you for coming out tonight. We will see you guys tomorrow for the UrbanX podcast, and we will see you guys here for another lesson next week.
Next Wednesday.
8 o'clock.
Peace.
Peace.